in today's video, it's going to be kind of a part 1 of 3 series that I'm starting where I want to give really good information about all of the different lipstick formulas that NYX puts out. If you've been like me in the past and you've ever stood in Ulta and you've stared at the wall of lip products that they have there, it can be a little bit overwhelming to understand what are the different formulas, what is going to work well for you, what are products that are worth avoiding, what are things that are totally awesome, what products are overpriced versus really awesomely priced. So I had this idea about 8 months ago where I wanted to review all of the different NYX lipstick formulas that were out there. I owned already quite a few NYX lipsticks, and I didn't think it would be that hard. I thought I'd have to pick up 1 or 2 things here to kind of round out the collection. Oh no, my friends. There are 37 different lipstick formulas that NYX makes. 37. So slowly but surely over time, I picked up all the different formulas and put them to the test. I waited for sales and kind of rounded out what is now an obnoxious amount of NYX lip products. And in many cases, I've picked up multiple colors in a particular formula because I wanted to understand how light, mid-tone, and deep shades perform differently. I will admit I didn't do that for every single formula, but I did it for quite a few. Decided to break this into 3 videos because, let's be honest, 37 formulas is a lot. And when you've got multiple shades, it would be the longest video of life. So we're going to break this into 3 parts. Today we're going to be focused on traditional lipsticks, so things that are in a bulleted format or a roll-up format, but a traditional lipstick. Then we're going to move on to liquid lipsticks and talk about the different forms of liquid lipsticks that NYX carries. And then finally, we're going to wrap it up with all of their gloss formulas. So my goal for this video is I definitely want to share my thoughts on each one of these formulas. I want to talk about the cost of the product. I also want to talk about the products in terms of cost per ounce, because when I was reviewing these products, I was capturing how much product was included and the retail price, and what it gave me was some really interesting math on several of these formulas that made me realize that some of the NYX lip products are not that affordable. We'll get into that a little bit later. At the end of the day, I wanted to scan through all the different formulas and kind of be able to rank them quickly on which ones I thought were great, which ones I thought were mediocre, and which ones are a total pass. So I've done that, and I've kind of given each product a 1 out of 5-star rating. So I also want to let you know that there is going to be a companion blog post below where I've got close-up swatches of everything, and then I'm also including this little table that I've put together because I wanted a summary of all of the products that I could share with you guys. So this is going to include the names of the products, the shades that were in the video and were swatched, their price points, their price per ounce. It's going to list all the ingredients. It's going to list the claims that NYX makes about the products. And then it's also going to include a quick recap of what my thoughts were on each of these products. I wanted to make sure that you had a resource that you could use when looking at all the different formulas so that you weren't maybe as overwhelmed as I have been in the past staring at that wall of NYX lip products. One final thing I wanted to mention before we got into this, just as a frame of reference for you guys, I'm going to put this up on the screen here. This is some lipstick pricing examples. So I kind of looked at really high-end brands like Tom Ford all the way down to really cheap formulas from Essence. And I looked how much their retail price was. I looked how many ounces of product you were getting, and then I calculate that as a price per ounce. Let's go ahead and get into some lipstick formulas. So first up are the NYX Butter Glosses. Now this is a formula that's been out for quite a while. They launched these on the heels of the success of the Butter Glosses, which are lovely. This is a bulleted lipstick format of kind of that same sort of lightweight glossy feel that you get from the Butter Glosses. These aren't going to be incredibly pigmented on one swipe. You can build up the color, but it's going to kind of go from a sheer wash to something that's kind of maybe medium wash across your lips. They are glossy and they feel really moisturizing and comfortable. They don't really have a heavy scent to them. They just kind of have a light sort of sweet scent. And then these retail for $6 a piece, and you're getting 0.16 ounces in these lipsticks, which equates to $37.50 per ounce. I have got 2 shades here. The first is the shade Root Beer Float, and this is just a really nice sort of everyday wearable pinky nude color. It's an easy shade that you can just slap on without a mirror. I frequently have kept this in my purse just for touch-ups. I really enjoy these butter glosses when my lips are feeling a little bit dehydrated, or I know I'm going to be on a plane, but I still want a little bit of something on my lips. They keep your lips really nicely moisturized. The other shade that I have is Frizzies, which is a really pretty sort of watermelon pink color. As you can see, both of these give a pretty good shine to the lips. These are not the most long wearing lipsticks. I would say these are going to last you 2 to 3 hours. They will definitely not make it through a meal. They're super easy to reapply, but because they fade so quickly, I've actually given these 4 out of 5 stars. One other thing I wanted to mention about these is that there are 34 colors in this shade range, so that's an incredible shade range. You've got everything from the lightest lights to the darkest, vampiest colors. I don't know the formula that's more glossy and sheer if that's really going to lend itself well towards those darker, more vampy colors. I don't see those working quite as well, but the lighter to mid-tone shades, I don't think you can go wrong with. I should mention I won't be keeping all of these. I will be kind of letting some friends and family raid this stash, as well as donating some to Project Beauty Share, but these are 2 that I will definitely keep. I really enjoy both these colors. I really love this formula. It's just quick and easy. So if you like a moisturizing lipstick, I don't think you'll be disappointed from these. For those of you who like the glossy, comfortable idea of the lip butters, but maybe want a little bit more pigmentation, something that's not quite so sheer, a line worth checking out are these Jumbo Lip Pencils. Now, these remind me a lot of the formula of the Bite high pigment lip pencils. I think Bite might be discontinuing those because they've been on sale in the Sephora stores and on their website, so I don't know if those are going to be around. These Jumbo Lip Pencils aren't really that jumbo. In all honesty, they're skinny little pencils when you compare them to some of the other, what I would say, Jumbo Lip Pencils, what we'll talk about in a minute here. These are quite skinny. These are also an incredible value. They're only $4.50. You're getting 0.18 ounces of product. So you're actually getting more product than the lip butters and for less cost. So this actually breaks down to be only $25 an ounce. It's definitely one of the more affordable formulas that NYX has put out. I would say these are glossy, opaque pencils, and these don't have any scent to them whatsoever. I have the shade 719. This is Pecan. This is pretty similar to the Root Beer Float shade, but maybe a little bit more neutral and less pink toned. This is just a beautiful, beautiful nude. One thing I did want to point out that may bother some people, this is not a twist up pencil, so you actually do have to sharpen that. So they only have 16 shades in this, but it definitely goes from light to deep. I love this color. I think if you're looking for a really easy, wearable, everyday nude that's comfortable on your lips but still gives full opacity, you'd really enjoy these. Okay, next up is a formula that has probably the stupidest name that NYX has ever put out. This is the Chunky Dunk. What? Yeah, Chunky Dunk Hydrating Lippie. So this is one of those jumbo lip pencils a la Neutrogena, similar to the Clinique chubby pencils. This has a pretty basic shade range. It only comes in 12 different shades, but it does kind of hit the spectrum from light to dark. So there are the shades that you would expect or perhaps look for. This is actually what I'm wearing on my lips today. Similar to the lip pencil we just talked about, this doesn't have any scent to it. These retail for $6. You're getting 0.11 ounces in there. So this is a little bit more expensive than the butter lipsticks. These little Chunky Dunk lip pencils are costing you $54.55. There's nothing wrong with this. I'm giving this 3 stars because I just think it's average, right? It's nothing to write home about, but it's not bad. I very much enjoy the color that I have. I put it on tonight and I thought, oh, this is really pretty. It's lightly hydrating. It's comfortable on your lips. Unlike the last lip pencil, this one is retractable, so you can roll it up as need be. If there's a shade you like, it's $6. It's comfortable. I really do enjoy the shade I'm wearing. I will continue to reach for this. I just probably won't go out of my way to purchase more of them. Next up is a line I'm just calling the Simply line because they launched 4 different kind of collections. They launched Simply Nudes, Simply Pinks, Simply Reds, Simply Vamp. So there are 6 colors in each of those little collections there. So if the past formula were the Clinique chubby sticks, then these are the Clinique Intense chubby sticks. So these have a lot more pigmentation to them. I don't necessarily think that there is an added scent to these, but they do have a scent, and I can't quite place what it is. It's maybe a little bit mentholy. Very, very subtle. I don't notice anything on my lips. It doesn't taste chemically when it's on my lips. And unlike the Chunky Dunk, I'm going to find as many ways to put that word in this video as possible. So unlike the Chunky Dunk, the Simply Nude or the Simply Pink or the Simply Red line is $6.50 a piece. You're getting the same amount of product, but they're charging you 50 cents more for it. I'm guessing because this has more pigmentation and costs a little bit more to make. I'm just guessing here, but be aware that that does increase your price per ounce to over $59. So still, I would say kind of an average price point for the drugstore. Unlike the past formulas we've talked about, which have all been very high shine, this formula is definitely more of a satin. It's just a traditional creamy satin lipstick, very comfortable on the lips. I have 4 shades, so 1 from each of the collections. In the Simply Nude line, I picked up the shade 04 Fairest. For me, this is just a little too light and a little too peachy. It really kind of washes me out. This isn't a color that is very flattering on my particular skin tone, but as you can see here in the image, there are some options that are a little bit deeper that may work out better for me. In the Simply Pink line, the shade that I got was 02 First Base. This is actually a really pretty sort of muted, cool toned pink. I'm not usually a huge pink lipstick lover, but I actually really enjoy how this looks on my lips. This is probably a shade that I will hang on to because I don't find a ton of pink lipsticks that I love, and I have really enjoyed wearing this one. In the Simply Red line, I got the shade 03 Candy Apple. Now this is a really flattering red for me. Probably one of the most flattering reds that I have. It's definitely a blue-based red. In fact, it leans almost a little raspberry when it shears out on your lips, but it is so bright and so vivid. It's one of those reds that when I put it on, it just brightens up my skin. It makes my teeth look white. It makes my skin look brighter and healthier. You know how there's just some lipstick shades and you'll go and you'll put them on and you're like, wow, like instantly everything about my face looks brighter and healthier and just better. For me, that is one of these shades. So this continues to be one of my favorite reds. In the Simply Vamp line, I got the shade 05 Covet, and I didn't realize when I was ordering this online that this is actually kind of a soft metallic. So I definitely don't think that it is the most foily looking metallic I've ever put on my lips. When I first saw that this had some shimmer to it, I was like, oh, I don't want a shimmer lipstick. But the few times that I've actually worn this, I've actually enjoyed how it looked on my lips. So next up, I want to talk about 2 like little skinny tube products. So first up is this Turnt Up Lipstick. So this comes in 22 shades. It definitely tends to focus more on the nudes and the lighter tones. It has a couple of reds and a purple thrown in for good measure. So I would say this is every bit as hydrating as the butter glosses, but just with full intense pigmentation right out of the gate. So I really actually enjoy this formula quite a bit. It has a really nice light vanilla scent. These retail for $6, which seems to be a price point that NYX had tried to hit quite frequently in the past. They've been all over the board more recently, but they seem to like that $6 price point for a while there. This has 0.9 ounces of product in it. So it ends up being $66.67 an ounce. I definitely see this being a formula that's going to work best with nudes. Once again, because it's just got that really comfortable slip gel feel to it, I don't think that this is going to be a product that really stays in place and locks down well with vampier shades. The shade that I do have is number 19 Tiara. And to be honest, this isn't my favorite shade of life. It's kind of a corally pink. And to be honest, I don't wear the shade a ton. It's okay, but honestly, I'd like to try a slightly different shade in this formula at some point. This to me, I'm giving another kind of 4 stars out of 5. It's not like the most mind-blowing product I've ever tried, but it's definitely better than average. And I think the pigmentation on here is absolutely gorgeous. And I think it's a very comfortable lip product because it's got a little bit more pigmentation to it. I also think it lasts a little bit longer than those butter lipsticks that we talked about first. So yeah, this is a winner for me. One that is not a winner for me is the NYX Plus Gel Lipsticks. So these retail for $7. They have the exact same amount of product as the Turnt Up Lipstick. However, these have less pigmentation. So these are more of a glossy formula that is a lot more lightweight. It has almost a I don't want to say greasy slip to it, but almost more of an oil slip to it. I can definitely get the gel from it. Couple things that I found from this. One, it smells like soap and it kind of tastes chemically on your lips. So it's getting an immediate star knocked off for that reason. alone. It's also getting a second star knocked off of it for the price point. So you've put something in a very similar package, you've charged me more for it, and it has less pigmentation. So why am I paying $7 for this versus $6 for this for something that gives me a very similar effect when I look at the shininess and the glossiness of it, but with less pigmentation and a lot more patchy on the lips. So I just can't get on board with this one. I think this is going to go in my avoid list. In fact, this is the first product that I tried when I was doing this review that I was like, 1 star. Don't love this. So I would pass on these. So one of the original NYX lipstick formulas are just their creamy round bulleted lipsticks. These are only $4, so they're an incredibly affordable lipstick, and it comes in 88 different shades. 88. That is a lot of different lipstick colors. So there's 0.14 ounces in here, which equates to $28.57. So this is definitely one of the cheaper price per ounce formulas out there. The formulas are kind of that glossy, classic cream lipstick that I think is maybe a little more glossy than a satin, but kind of in that satiny range. They're easy to apply. They're super comfortable on your lips. This is gonna get knocked some major points because of the smell. So it's driving me crazy what it smells like. It smells like it's some household toilet bowl cleaner that I've used in the past. It's gonna drive me crazy. It's not Comet. At some point in the future, you're gonna find me standing in a Target aisle smelling toilet bowl cleaners, trying to figure out what this scent is. But I know it's a toilet bowl cleaner. I know I used it as a kid when my mom made me clean the bathrooms. That is what this smells like. I don't notice it a ton from a scent perspective when it's on my lips. I think the price point is a lot more affordable, and I think that it has a massive shade range. So I feel like if you're looking for a lipstick when you really just want it for a particular outfit or for a particular look, or you want to try something totally funky that you don't really care to pay a lot of money for, this could fit the bill. So I'm giving this 2 stars out of 5. The shade I have here is 612 Lala. It's a very cool toned sort of murky plum color. I really do love the shade of this. I love how it looks on my lips. It's just, once again, I don't want to walk around smelling like toilet bowl cleaner. So the next formula is the Pin-Up Pout line. This is one of those classic bulleted lipsticks. So this is on the pricier end of things. You are getting 0.11 ounces in here, which equates to $72.73. So this is definitely up there a little bit. But what I feel like you're getting with this is really intense pigmentation. It is a really pretty cream formula. The formula feels similar to the lipsticks we just talked about, those creamy bulleted lipsticks, but I think these have a lot more pigmentation to them. It kind of reminds me of the old Bite lipstick formula before they went to the Amuse Bouche. If you ever tried those lines, they were a lot more gel-like and creamy, but still had really good pigmentation, whereas the new formula is a little thicker and maybe slightly more matte. I really like how it looks on my lips. I think it wears really well. A double blot technique helps the shade last a lot longer. This is getting knocked a couple stars rather, for 2 reasons. One, I think $8 for this is kind of pushing it up there in my opinion. I think there are other drugstore formulas that are a little more affordable than this. The other reason it's getting a star knocked off is it has a funky scent. So, did you ever drink water out of a hose as a kid? You know the smell of like a rubber hose? That is what this smells like to me. I'm looking through my notes here, and what I wrote down was that for as strong as it smells in the tube, I don't notice it on the lips, nor does it have a taste. So it's one of those ones that you sit here and you smell and you're like, rubber hose. And then you put it on your lips, it doesn't really smell like anything, and you don't have any taste. It doesn't taste chemically or anything like that. But I don't know. Rubber hose is not necessarily the thing that I want my lipstick to smell like. So for the price point and that odd smell, I'm giving this one 3 out of 5 stars. This range also has 24 different shades. It's got a strong focus on lots of different nude shades, but it does have a full collection of kind of light to dark shades and everything in between. The shade that I have here is number 23 Flashy. It is a beautiful, beautiful plum color. I don't know, I love the color, I love the pigmentation, I love how smoothly it goes on my lips. I'm torn on whether or not I'm going to keep this one, to be totally honest. So 2 bulleted lipsticks that NYX put out. I think they came out maybe around Halloween, if I remember correctly. Or maybe one was spring, one was Halloween. Regardless, these are the Macaron and the Wicked Lippies. The Macaron is focused on very bright pastel colors. So it's definitely not for the faint of heart. There's very few lipstick colors that are normal from a lipstick perspective. The formula is very similar to the Pin-Up Pout that we just talked about. It's that classic cream lipstick, and it packs a heck of a pigmented punch, at least the shade that I have here. These retail for $6. You're getting 1.6 ounces, so that brings it to $37.50, so a very affordable lipstick option. And it's interesting to me that they can build something for this cheap that is that pigmented and feels a lot like that Pin-Up Pout, which they're charging $8 for versus $6. So once again, there's some logic at work here that I can't quite put my fingers on. The shade that I have is 05 Violet. It is a very interesting purple shade. I got this because as I looked at the range, I thought this is the one shade that I might potentially wear. Yeah, I don't know if I'm ever going to wear this. If I'm being totally honest. I do love some purple lipsticks. In fact, there's one we're going to talk about here in a little bit that I think is really pretty and flattering, but you can go too far with purple and then it just looks a little clownish. At least that's how I feel like it looks like on me. This doesn't really have a scent to it, maybe a slight makeup-y, chemically scent, very, very subtle. Like you really got to put your nose in here and smell intensely. It's not chemically on your lips. It's not something you're really going to notice as you apply, but I did want to note any sort of scent that I smelled when I put this up to my nose. I'm giving this one 4 out of 5 stars because for a rainbow collection of a bunch of bright kind of avant-garde colors, I think they've nailed the pigmentation. The price point is really reasonable. The price per ounce is really reasonable. The pigmentation and the lasting power for cream lipstick are all there. So, you know, is this something everyone's going to want to rush out and buy? Probably not. But if you're looking for a really funky shade, if you're wanting to rock something out for a concert or wanting a really affordable shade for a Halloween look, or maybe just want to try slapping on a blue or a purple lip one day, this is definitely one of those formulas that I think is going to perform and give you a good opacity in a way that I think a lot of those kind of avant-garde colors struggle to do. So whereas the Macaroons was a set of 12 sort of rainbow colors, the Wicked Lippies are 12 metallic jewel tones. So interesting shades from olives to browns to grays and kind of some purples and other interesting colors in there. The thing that I noticed about this versus the Macaroon ones is, I don't know if it's just that metallic texture, but it feels a lot thinner, and I struggled to put this on and get it to look even and not patchy. Price point is also $6. You are getting a teeny tiny less bit of product in the Wicked Lippies than the Macaroons, so that bumps up the price per ounce slightly to $40. The shade that I have is Cold Hearted. It's a really interesting steel gray color, sort of a gunmetal gray, and I thought that I might enjoy a gray this color if I was really looking for something funky. And it's not that I hate the color on my lips, it's really that I can't get it to go on evenly. So for that reason, I'm giving these 2 stars out of 5. I don't know if the other metallic shades are going to be better, but I also feel like we just had Maybelline launch a really well thought out collection of metallics in a full range of colors, and I felt like that formula out of the gate just felt better and was a lot more opaque and creamy on my lips than this one, which is a lot thinner. Okay, one product that I can just hands down not recommend, not because the formula is awful, but because it is so expensive. So this is the NYX Ombre Lip Duo. I thought this was a cool idea. You get a lip liner at one end that is slightly deeper than the lipstick that you get at the other end. And the lipstick at the other end is kind of a classic cream lipstick, not overly matte, not overly glossy. The formula on these was not bad. The challenge that I had with this is that it is $12. Okay, so that's already pushing the edge of what I would ever pay for a drugstore lipstick. So here's where the pricing gets even more scary. So you are getting an absolutely minuscule amount of product in this. On the lipstick end, you are getting 0.015 ounces. And then on the liner end, you're getting 0.004 ounces. So that's rounding up to 0.02 ounces of product. So when you divide the $12 that they're asking for this by the 0.02 ounces of product that they are giving you, wait for it, this is breathtaking. It is $631.58 an ounce. Try that one on for size. So here's the crazy thing. Let's flash back to the list of lipsticks. Let's look at Tom Ford. Tom Ford is $540 an ounce. which is crazy. But NYX wants $631 for this. I actually am just kind of honked off even thinking about it. The shade I have is Freckles and Speckles. It's pretty. I'm clearly going to use this up because I have paid more for this than my most expensive lipstick ever. So I will use this up. It's pretty. I like how it looks on my lips, but good Lord, just stay away from these. There's much better ways to spend your money than on these ombre lip duos. And anyone want to guess what I gave this from a star rating? If you guessed 1 star, you'd be correct. All right out of the gate, I'm going to tell you this is another 1-star product. So this is the Super Cliquey Matte Lipstick. These came out, I think, in the fall of last year. These retailed for $8.99. You're getting 0.05 ounces, which equates to $179.80. So in comparison, this is kind of pricing out like a MAC lipstick or a Bite Beauty lipstick or a Kat Von D lipstick when you think about what you're actually getting in a price per ounce perspective. An overly high price point aside, it's not $600, but still, they're trying to charge you Sephora lipstick pricing for a NYX product. I have a couple of big issues with this. So this is one of those products that you click on the end to have the product come up. There is absolutely no way to get the product down. So if you click too many times and you've got too much product coming out the end here, you're screwed. There's no way to get it to go back into the bullet. So I don't like the design of this. The other thing I struggled with is they did this sort of teardrop shape on the top. And in theory, I was like, oh, that should be easy to put on. I think you could get a line really easily and fill in. I don't know if it's just I'm not used to using this type of shade, but I really struggled with this shape and getting it to apply on my lips evenly. They have 12 shades of this. It's kind of mostly mid-tones and dark shades, so it was kind of those like vampier, darker colors. So this is also a matte formula, but it's very heavy feeling. And I just felt like it was super patchy. I'm hoping you can see here in the swatches that it doesn't lay down product evenly. It has a very thick, sort of slippy feel to it, so it never goes on easily. I think there are better matte lipsticks at the drugstore. There's better matte lipsticks from NYX, and I think the combination of just this awkward design and the price point and then the patchiness just makes this a total 1-star product. This is a formula that I really enjoy. This is the NYX Full Throttle Lipstick. There's only 12 colors in this collection, so there's not a very wide shade range. I actually wish they made more of these. This is a matte lipstick that has a very lightweight sort of gel texture to it. Gosh, I don't even know if gel is the right word. It has a very nice sort of smoothing effect when it goes on your lips, and it's very lightweight. So it always feels creamy and comfortable on your lips, but it actually looks pretty matte when you put it on. The pigmentation on this is insane. Like full pigmentation, super easy to put on your lips, doesn't skip, isn't patchy at all. Just a great pigment. This reminds me a lot of the Bite Matte Lip Pencils. However, these retail for $7. Those retail for $24. This has 0.08 ounces of product in there, so it equates to about $87.50 per ounce. The Bite ones in comparison are like $480 an ounce. So yeah, clearly the value is here. The shade that I have that I love is Trickster. When I was talking earlier about purples that I think are incredibly wearable, this is the one that comes into my mind. It's just sort of that hybrid between an orchid and a purple shade. I love this bright in the summer. I actually think I can wear this all seasons, changing up my makeup. This is just a fun, funky color that I really enjoy when I want an interesting, bold lip. It doesn't really have any sort of scent to it, so if you're bothered by scents, this is another one that NYX makes that isn't scented. I probably should look at picking up a few more shades next time Ulta's running a sale on NYX lipsticks. So yeah, I really enjoy this one. Okay, so now onto a formula that I think NYX is really well known for, and for good reason. This is their classic sort of matte lipstick. This comes in 45 different shades, so there is a zillion different shades from light to medium to dark to funky colors and everything in between. These retail for $6 and you're getting 0.16 ounces of product, so you're getting twice as much product in here as you are in that Full Throttle one that I really love. So this makes this also a very affordable price point per ounce. It actually equates to $37.50 an ounce. So that is very, very, very reasonable. So unlike the full Throttle lipstick we just talked about that felt very lightweight, this just feels like a classic cream lipstick. This isn't the mattest formula ever. In fact, this is pretty comparable to the MAC matte formula, if you're familiar with that. They almost have a little bit of a satiny texture to them, but that makes them super, super comfortable. You know, I think when these first came out, they were the mattest thing on the market, and now we've gotten so used to those like completely matte transfer proof liquid lipsticks that anything that has any sort of sheen doesn't really look matte anymore. But these do look matte on your lips. These don't have any scent to them. They don't dry out my lips, so I can put them on and they still feel creamy, but they have enough pigmentation and they set down well enough that they last a really, really long time. So I have 6 shades I want to show you here. And what I wanted to comment quickly about this formula as well is that it's very consistent. From the lightest of the lights to the darkest of the darks, you don't have to worry about patchiness or things bleeding or moving. It's just a really good lipstick formula. The first shade that I have is kind of a more cool toned nude. It's number 35 Honeymoon. I love this when I'm wearing slightly more cool toned looks. I think it is cool toned without being super grayish, so I really love this color. Next up is 15 Whipped Caviar. This is more of your traditional sort of rosy nude. It's not the lightest nude ever, but I think it's a very flattering nude sort of pinky color for those of us with fair skin. If you're fair like me, this is definitely a nude that I think would look really, really flattering on you. The next shade I have is kind of an interesting shade. This is shade 43 Crazed, and this is kind of a rusty brick red color. This is just a fun shade for the fall. It's unique in my collection. It's definitely different, and it looks beautiful with warmer sort of russet toned eye looks in the fall. Just a really fun color that I am absolutely enjoying. So next up is the shade Sweet Pink, and this is not a shade that I would have gravitated towards, probably left to my own devices. This definitely goes in the YouTube made me buy it category. It's a very blue-based sort of orchidy pink. Small apology for the squeaking in the background. I got the puppy's new toys today, and they're just letting me know how happy they are with their new toys. So thank you, squeaky, squeaky, squeaky. I think this is one of those hot pinks that doesn't read Barbie because it's got those sort of bluish orchid undertones. This also is one of those shades that every time I put it on, I feel like it brightens my skin. It just makes me look more awake. I don't know, I really love this shade, and I never would have picked it up if I hadn't seen it on someone else. Next up is the shade Aria. This is just one of those traditional sort of raspberry meets plum shades. It's beautiful in the wintertime. This is just one of those berry shades that I always think of in the winter, and I just absolutely love. It goes on super smoothly. We're starting to get into some of the deeper shades here, but it still performs so well. And then the final shade that I have is Siren. This is absolutely a shade that just is fall in a lipstick to me. It's super deep, vampy, sort of cranberry shade, and I love it. It is a shade that I trust to A, stay on my lips even though it's dark and deep, and go on smoothly, and just, I don't know, if we want a vampy color, this is one of the better ones that I've ever tried. I just think the formula really works well with these darker shades, and historically these darker shades I struggle with from many brands, high-end and drugstore. So really love all 6 of these shades. Highly recommend this formula. I probably could pick up many more. In fact, if you have any of these that you absolutely love that I didn't mention today, let me know in the comments below, because after swatching and just talking about them, I'm totally in the mood to buy another one. So last year is when NYX launched a second matte lipstick formula. Very similar packaging to their original matte line. It's just more of that soft touch velvet packaging versus just like a regular, I don't know, matte black package. This is their velvet matte lipsticks. So whereas those are $6 a piece, the velvet matte ones are $7. So they're definitely more expensive, and they also have slightly less product. So these have 0.14 ounces versus 0.16 in the original line. So all that equates to this being $50 an ounce, and then the other one being $37.50. Note to self, move the cat scratcher to another room when you're filming. In the background here, all you hear is my cat. Hi, Finn. Do you want to say hi to people? This is Finn. She's my crazy redhead. Yes. She's a good girl, but she's slightly crazy. Okay, where was I before I got distracted by animals? I'm not even sure. Okay, anywho, this is the NYX Velvet Matte Lipstick. And I was really trying to figure out why this one was a little bit more expensive and how they possibly felt like they needed another version of a matte lipstick when that line was already so comprehensive. This Velvet Matte line only has 12 shades in it. And I think for comparison's sake, the original matte line reminds me more of the MAC matte lipsticks. So they have a little bit of a shine to them, not a ton, but almost more of like a satin matte hybrid. This reminds me of the retro matte finishes. So shades like Ruby Woo, that shade that is a lot more drying. But I think with formulas like this, you really have to make sure your lips are exfoliated, make sure that you've potentially put down a primer. I think they take a little bit more prep work before they're actually just like ready and rearing to go. That being said, this formula, like the retro matte formula from MAC, lasts a really, really long time. Like this is one of those formulas that will probably last you through a normal meal. Maybe not a greasy cheeseburger, but you know, you go out and you have a regular meal, eat with a fork and a knife, you're probably not going to have to do much touch up with this when you are done. It's not my favorite formula of life. It might be the shade that I got. So I have the shade Volcano. It's a really pretty cranberry shade, but it's not necessarily anything unique to my collection. I have other shades like this. I would say this is kind of a 4 out of 5 stars. For what it is, for what I think it's copying, which is those MAC lipsticks, I think it's absolutely done its job. Okay, so that wraps up the NYX formulas for lipsticks. I feel like I have been talking for 1,000 years. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope this was helpful. I hope that this gives you a sense for the NYX lipstick formulas. Like I said, we're going to do liquid lipsticks next and then move on to glosses so you have a full summary of all the NYX products. I'm working to get that blog post up also that will kind of recap all this for you, give you a table that you can review and take with you potentially. So let me know down in the comments below, what are your favorite NYX products? What are things that you have absolutely loved and why? There's so many things here. For as many lipsticks as I talked about today, we've barely scratched the surface at the thousands, literally thousands of lip products that NYX has out on the market today. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.